Welcome back to Talk of the Townsends, the world's #1 F1 podcast. Today on the show, are the cars too fast? Should they slow down a little bit? I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I'm Hannah Townsend.
This is Talk of the Townsends, the show about achieving incredible enlightenment, getting wealth and all that other stuff, and mostly having a nice chat. It's great to be with you once again.
And how are you, Benedict Townsend?
I'm doing wonderfully, and today I'm doing an ASMR voice. It's me, actor Mark Strong, on Talk of the Townsends. I'm doing really great, and I've got a question for you, Hannah.
Tell me.
What's the first topic of the show?
I tried to get out ahead in front of you to be like, what's up with you?
I like your little bows. The people at home can't see them.
Beautiful bows, beautiful gowns.
I think this one might have flipped up a little bit. Is it meant to be sort of flippy? I could imagine getting to the end of the record and you being like, my bows!
Beautiful bows.
Beautiful gowns.
So you posted something on TikTok about TikTok time. So a time when people come together to watch TikToks with their partner after a video went viral, right? And it was really interesting, actually, the comments on the back of that, of like people view and watch TikTok in like completely different ways, right?
Yes, yeah.
But I have someone, okay, that I follow on Instagram that uses Instagram in the weirdest way, okay?
Before we get to that, can we just quickly dive into TikTok time?
Okay.
Just for the people who don't know at home. I covered this on Scroll Deep, my show. Thanks for an idea from Hannah. And basically, yeah, it's like when people get together to watch TikToks, we assumed that everyone was like us and got together at bedtime and looked at the TikToks that we'd been sending to each other all day and not watching.
6'5".
Blue eyes. Finance.
Yeah.
But there was a range of times. People say in the morning.
There were a couple of things that stood out to me. Some people said that they wait till their notifications get to like plus 90, like between them and their partner, and then they sit down and do like a massive TikTok evening. Other people say they like save them up for a Saturday night. It was fascinating.
Yeah, the idea of saving up all week. Yeah. I mean, the patience that'd be required.
It would almost be like a feature-length movie that you would just be going through, like laughing together. TikTok time.
The idea of a whole evening of TikTok. It's like going out for the movies on a Saturday night, but you're at home. Imagine being able to watch a movie at home.
It was really fascinating because you assume people, like, it's like a behavior that most people would do like you. I don't know.
But I think that's true of everything, right? And I think human beings are so fascinating in this way of like any activity or any preference or anything, the second you give it to a group of humans, they will all just start doing it in weird and different ways. I wish I could think of a single example, but it's like, you know, you give a hat to a group of people and they'll all wear that hat in a slightly different weird way or whatever. I think that's what makes us special and better than the other animals and what gives us the right to dominate and destroy them.
I guess it was what makes people unique, but I guess viewers at home, I've lost a nail, and it's quite a prominent one. I would say that's maybe the worst one to lose.
Yeah, probably.
If you were going to lose a nail, which one would you want to lose? Because I don't think it'd be middle.
It's the middle finger, everyone.
I'd say baby is the best.
Hannah this morning got up and she got a tear from a bumblebee and used that to attach these nails.
I know, they've been pinging off.
Never in history have nails been less attached.
I was filming something and I had to have some nails on. And anyway, but it is just fascinating that people use platforms in different ways. I'm going to really out myself here. There is someone who I follow on Instagram who uses Instagram in a way that I have never seen Instagram used before. This person does a mass upload, usually on Christmas Day, of every event that they've been to. I'm talking weddings, I'm talking family holidays, I'm talking moved jobs, whatever it is. Individual posts.
Main feed.
Main feed posts. Most are like a scroll, you know.
I mean, retweet to scare a Gen Z, because you know Gen Z doesn't main post generally at all.
No, I know. They don't use the
This
gram.
person posts once a year and just posts everything.
On Christmas Day.
Who is this person? I need
you.
to see this person.
I was reminded of this because they did the mass upload the other day and it's May. And I was like, what's going on? But it was a mass upload of like everything because I think they skipped Christmas this year. So it was like just one post after the other. I've never seen Instagram used like that.
I would love to know what that does to the Instagram like algorithm.
You don't post for a year and then you post like 15, 20 times of like, had a lovely time at so-and-so's wedding in June. Does anyone else do this?
What does that do to the feed of people who follow you as well?
I'm just inundated.
I'm working on a project at work, which I'm really excited about, which I will reveal soon. But I've been speaking to tech people for it. And I spoke to a guy who worked at Instagram and he knew his stuff. And I asked him, why not just, I couldn't help, I had to ask him, why not just have a chronological feed? Because that's what everyone wants, right? Instead of having an algorithmic feed, you just show all the posts in the order they come up, because that's what everyone says they want. And a lot of people say they want that.
Sure.
But he basically said that brands and celebrities post so much more than your friends that if you had a chronological feed, you would only ever see brands and celebrities. Now, I would say, is that any different from the current situation? I feel like all I ever see is brands and celebrities and ads.
Yeah.
And also, isn't the solution just that you would never follow any brands and celebrities? You would just follow your friends. But I guess Instagram really doesn't want you to do that.
No.
Say it was chronological and you had your friend doing their yearly, I'll say it, dump. It's the Instagram version of phantom pooing, which we spoke about last week.
It is.
Do you think you might start doing that? Are you converted?
A yearly upload of just everything that's gone on in my life. It's almost like a Christmas letter. It's a shame they've gone out of fashion. You know, it's like, so-and-so got into Harvard.
It's been quite the year in the Townsend house. The podcast is thriving as ever. The phantom poet remains at large. Hannah's nail was put on and then sadly lost.
My updates for the year.
It's quite funny to do the whole year, especially if they do it in chronological order, because they could be like, it was so lovely adopting Miffy the bunny. The next post, Miffy the bunny has sadly died. Miffy the bunny got into the road. Okay. And then the next post, great to get Miffy 2, a successor bunny. Next post, Miffy 2 has also died.
I think Miffy was the name of the dog from last.
It was. And it really tickled me that you called it Miffy.
Miffy? How are these bows?
Beautiful bows. They're very, very nice.
So yeah, anyway, just an absolutely bizarre way of using the old gram. Might this person unfollow me if they ever came across this clip? Possibly.
Well, no, because they wait till once a year and then they unfollow everyone. Do they ever post any stories?
Never.
No stories.
It's just the mass upload.
Interesting.
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not keeping up with them too much. Just once a year is enough for me.
And reels? What of reels?
I only tune in once a year on Christmas Day. Other people are sat watching Gavin and Stacey, and I'm waiting for the yearly uploads.
You love it. It's like Christmas Day for you.
Very good.
Very good. On the way to this very podcast recording, we were going down some stairs at a very busy tube station, and there was a girl dead center of that flight of stairs, stood still, just completely still on her phone. And I've seen people do this, and I think this is so insane. To come to a dead stop on a flight of stairs anywhere, but also in a public place.
It happens. So my local station, which I go to most days, there's a bit where you go down.
Mayfair.
You go down. And so what everyone does is they're on the phone, they're texting, they're calling, and they're like, well, like, I can't go down.
They're uploading 60 to 70 Instagram posts.
They're like, well, I can't go down because then the signal wouldn't be good. So it's like, I guess the most convenient thing for me would be just to stop right here. And they do. And stop they do.
Because it's the edge of the signal zone.
It's the edge of the signal zone. And I'm just like, that is amazing that you are just like, the stairs are thin.
It's so selfish. It's crazy. You know the thing that baffles me, because I work pretty central, so I see a lot of tourists. And one thing you learn when you're in central London is that it's Italian half term every week, apparently. It's the German school kids are just always on holiday. There's always these vast groups of like often European like children or groups, whatever. And they will have the craziest behavior where they will go into a tube station and they will just stand in front of the barriers. Not go through, they'll just stand directly in front of them. And I'm like, but I know you have trains in Germany. Why can you not do this? It's like, oh, they'll just stop in the middle.
Everyone's in holiday mode.
I guess maybe it is holiday mode. Because they'll do that as well, where they'll all just stop in the middle of some stairs. And I'm like, I know you have stairs in Italy.
I understand, but I guess when we're somewhere, we're like trying to take it all in. So I guess for us, it's just like a horrible stairs at like, I don't know, Leicester Square. But for them, they're like, oh, the Leicester Square stairs.
The Leicester stairs. Yeah, I suppose maybe that was us a bit in Japan, where we'd be on like commuter trains. But we still weren't stopping in the middle of a flight of stairs. God forbid you do that in Japan.
No.
Anyway, this was Benedict's old man corner of the show.
I don't think I want this to go as...
We lost another nail.
We've lost another nail.
How many nails?
We're down to 8.
How many nails will we end the show with?
I don't think I want this to go as a clip on the World Wide Web. But
Okay.
I do think it would be fun as a little insider.
Okay.
So
this is just for the podcast listeners.
This is a pod exclusive.
And I guess YouTube, but no one watches that.
So there's someone online who's trying to dox me, right?
Really?
Yeah. So there's this person who comments on videos that I've seen. It was like, I loved it when Hannah was on the dating show with Lewis Capaldi. All right?
2 things. 1, I don't think you know what docs means.
Is that not what it is?
Docs is when you get your address
I know, but
leaked.
it's similar. It's something
Personal information.
It's personal.
It's on the internet, that video.
It's something that's personal for me that I don't want other people knowing about.
Second of all, when we say show...
I think show might be a bit of a reach. Many years ago, as a favour to a friend, okay? A friend who worked at Capital. He's kind of a friend of a friend. But I basically said that I agreed to be on this like morning radio dating show.
Segment.
All right. Don't dim my light.
But it's not a show.
Segment with Lewis Capaldi.
Are you proud of this or not proud of this?
I think for the podcast listeners, it's a laugh.
Sure.
I don't want it going further and nobody comment anywhere about this. I agreed to be on this little segment. Now, I was told it was a radio show because it was a radio show. So I thought, well, I didn't bother making myself look nice. In no way ever thought that it was going to be video recorded.
Oh, no.
And I got there and I was like in this studio with like cameras, mics. Like I was completely overwhelmed at how much of a bigger deal it was than I assumed it was going to be. I thought I'd just be like sat with a microphone, like in a pair of jeans, just like.
It was also extremely confusing for me because I was working at Global and I didn't know you were going to just be in the building. And we were like were we even dating at that time? And I turned around and you were just in the building and I was like, Hannah?
It's like, obviously, it wasn't real. I wasn't really going to go on a date with Lewis Capaldi. And I didn't win. And also, all the other people who'd been on it got the questions beforehand.
And the other people were all Lewis Capaldi super fans, weren't they? And
Yes.
you were more just like a regular fan of Lewis Capaldi.
Well, he was quite new on the scene. So I would say had only heard a few tracks at this point.
Sure.
Now, much more familiar with who Lewis Capaldi is. Very beautiful voice. Very clear on who he is.
Yes.
Then I was more just like, it'd be fun.
Beautiful voice, beautiful gowns.
Beautiful voice.
Beautiful
Genuinely,
voice,
really
yeah.
beautiful voice. And yeah, all these are the other girls that I was doing it with, they had the pre-prepared questions. I had not. And then I was trying to be like, I think back to it and I was like trying to be funny on the spot. And I was also like quite nervous because it's just, I hate it so much. And there's someone who keeps commenting. So yes, it was me. If you're trying to confirm if it was me or not, it was me. Leave me alone.
Yes, I dated Lewis Capaldi
Yes.
on a show.
A podcast exclusive. Yes, I did date Lewis Capaldi, but I married you.
Exactly. So something went wrong there. You could be rich right now.
What's his song from him? Never mind.
Is it him or who's the one who's like, and the day bleeds into nightfall.
Oh, but you're not here. Let me through it all.
I'm
The
getting
day's
out of
gone. The guy who
Is that Lewis
manages
Capaldi?
this podcast is going to walk in and be like, everything all right, lad?
Is that Lewis Capaldi?
Yeah.
Someone you
I
love.
was getting kind of used to being someone you love.
Horrible for the podcast listeners. There's a guy who busks in Leicester Square.
Does he sing that?
He sings that song
It,
every day.
it must be good for tips, though.
Yes, but he sings that song every day, and he has a speaker.
Oh,
and
let him sing.
but nothing wrong with him singing, but the volume penetrates the walls of the building to the point where we now all know his voice so well. I mean, he obviously doesn't know this.
It's smart, though.
We can hear him from inside the office, and we'll be like, he's doing Someone You Loved again.
Oh, yeah.
There it goes. Day bleeds.
It's smart, though. Set up camp outside a radio office.
Yeah. He could be dating Lewis Capaldi.
Anyway, so some insider goss. Yes, I did. Yes, Daily Mail, if you're listening, I did date Lewis Capaldi, but only for a short period.
Someone said, what a scoop. It's been a great year for the Townsends. Hannah went on a date with Lewis Capaldi.
The Phantom is still at large.
I found a power, it's still at large. Was that the voice I was doing before? I'm now doing kind of like a radio guy. I'm going to be on the radio this weekend, Radio X.
Wee.
Overnight, 1st and 2nd of June. By the time you hear this podcast, it will definitely be past that time. But keep your ears peeled to Radio X because I'm on it sometimes.
In the spirit of openness and sharing,
Oh, no.
I guess the other thing, my other secret is that the other day I tried to help you out and it really backfired on me.
Okay.
So you posted an ad on the Clock app, if you will,
Oh, this was so funny.
and you posted it with a caption, and then you needed to edit the caption after it had already gone live.
Hmm.
Now, the problem with that is you basically can't do it.
If it's an ad.
If it's an ad. But at this point, we didn't know that. So I said, my dear love, hold tight. I will post a story to Instagram to my close friends and I'll like ask people, does anyone know how to do this? I'm trying to get to the bottom of like how to edit this, right? So I took a little picture and I wrote out a caption that just said, hi, does anyone know how to do this on TikTok? I posted it to my close friends. Now, my close friends is just like my mates from school
Yeah.
who don't use TikTok.
Yeah.
So I was a bit like, oh, I don't
We
know.
all love Chanel, but I don't know if she knows how to do that.
So I then came up with like a curated list of people of influencers who I follow. Maybe I've met them at an event once, people that I really like and look up to and think are really cool. That I was like, maybe these people will be able to help me. And then instead of just adding them to my close friends so they could like at leisure watch my story and then choose whether to reply, I tagged them.
You accidentally tagged them.
I accidentally tagged them. And the only way I realized I'd done it is I looked in my DMs and it was like, you tagged so-and-so in a story. You tagged so-and-so in a story. Just all of my DMs.
How many people roughly do you think you tagged in that?
So many. So many people. And then I was like...
Tagging them is so like aggressive.
Passive aggressive. Hi, sorry. Don't know if you saw this.
Yeah.
And also, I just like...
Because you tagged them after you'd already posted it, right?
Yes.
That's so funny.
So it was already live, but obviously they weren't on my close friends beforehand because I was like adding them and tagging them. It was like a double whammy. These people had never been in my close friend story before, were then like physically tagged. So then I did obviously lie and I said, hi, I don't know what happened there. My phone malfunctioned and tagged you.
Did you go with that as the excuse?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I was so embarrassed. I thought, do you know what? You probably know I'm lying, but...
To be fair, they probably didn't all get together and verify.
No, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
It took some people like a day and a half to reply as well. And they were like, hey, no, everyone was so nice. They were like, hey, don't worry. But like, I was just sat there like...
Oh, that's brilliant. It's the classic thing. My grandma always says, no good deed goes unpunished.
Never.
No good deed.
And to conclude, you can't edit after.
No. So if you find yourself in that insanely specific set of circumstances,
Don't say we don't teach ya.
it's a TOTT.
Can you,
Stop showing off.
can you keep in a clip of my arms looking strong?
Your arms are looking strong.
Thanks.
It's a TOTT exclusive.
I wonder if anyone else is like this. So I do really like horror movies, but the one thing I don't like is like anything scary or watching people get hurt. Like I cannot watch people get hurt.
So do you like horror movies?
So I enjoy all the boring, slow. I'm there for the plot.
Yeah.
So like when we watched the final Saw the other day.
Yeah.
And like obviously there's just a lot of like padding until like they get to the part where it's like the torture machine or the thing. And I can't see it and I also can't hear it because it gets very loud and I also hate loud noises. I'm very like scary and I hate the people screaming and being in pain. So I will watch the whole plot up until like anything exciting happens and then I'll go,
It was so funny. You were like, I love this movie. And then the second one of the actual Saw, because it's quite good, that movie, Saw X, I think it's called.
Yeah.
They actually, they instead of every other Saw movie where they just start the traps and then start telling you the plot in flashback, Saw X actually has the patience to be like, the first half of the movie will be build up and the second half will be payoff. And it actually really works.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because you were so engrossed. And then the second someone started being tortured, you just turned away. And I was like, isn't that the whole reason we're here?
couldn't watch it.
It is weird though, because like, why, I'm sure I'm not the first one to say this, but like, why is that entertainment? Why am I enjoying, not really enjoying, but why am I watching someone sawing their own head off? Like, why is that good? I don't know.
I will say, like, they're very inventive traps.
They
Like, I
are,
would
yeah.
see the trap before anything happens and then think, not for me.
I'll say this as a blanket rule. Most of those saw traps, not for me. I don't think I'd like to be in them.
Yeah, no. I just can't watch it. It's so scary to me.
They're so funny though, like how wildly unfair they are. Like one of them, the traps, was a guy had to break his own fingers or his eyes would be sucked out, right? Which is like, actually compared to some of the other saw traps, not the worst thing ever, because you could still live. And then, but some of the other ones are like cut off your own head or I'll explode your head. And it's like, well, hold on.
No, it's more cut off your own leg.
Yeah, it's like cut off both your legs or I'll kill you. But it's like in a way where you will just bleed to death. And it's quite funny, actually. There's a guy who manages to get out of the traps and he's like hacked his arm to bits. And the saw guy is like, you passed the test. And he walks over with a little case with a little cross on it, like a first aid kit. And he's like, you're going to be fine.
Yeah,
and I'm like, is he? Like the implication being that this old man with a first aid kit is just going to patch him up and he's going to be fine.
That's the part that I tuned back in for.
You were
like,
like, I'm into this.
Fine. He's going to be all right.
Yeah, that is funny though. We made some videos with the Pulp Kitchen guys recently. Lovely fellas, lovely boys, beautiful gowns. And I think they asked us maybe what's the scariest film we've ever seen. I can't remember. Not to steal their whole thing. What is the scariest film for you in terms of like it actually really scares you?
A lot of mine just date back to like being young. There's a film called Vacancy actually.
Vacancy.
Yeah, and it's actually
I'm gonna look this up.
It's a really good one of its type. And I found that it's two people in a motel, people with masks. There's something about masks for me that scare me so much.
Vacancy.
It's a really good film. I would really recommend it.
Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. 2007. Oh, that's a great year for that kind of movie.
So they're in a motel room, which is always scary, in an American motel room where it's just kind of by itself. Do you know what I mean? In like barren land. And I think there's like loads of ways into their room, like that you don't realize when you're watching it. That's a great movie.
That's cool. We should watch that.
We should.
In terms of movies that scare me, I mean, pagan-y stuff and witchy stuff always really scares me. Have you ever seen The Wicker Man?
No.
That's a really scary film. Because for me, like, I'm not necessarily scared by like gore and stuff like that, because it's just more like visceral. But the stuff that really gets under my skin is stuff like culty, pagan-y stuff. Because I guess because it could be kind of real.
But someone could just wear a mask and kill you.
Yeah, but it's more the kind of like.
What was that one we watched that was pagan-y?
Obviously, Midsummer is very.
No,
like that.
and you realised it was present day. The twist is.
Oh, The Village.
Is that it?
I mean, you've thrown that twist. Well, it's kind of pagan-y. Yeah, they live in like a sort of medieval village, but it's like it's actually present day. M. Night Shyamalan. Not his best, not his worst.
Yeah.
The Witch with Anya Taylor-Joy, one of her first films, that is really scary to me because it's just about a little family in pilgrim times who are like potentially being attacked by a witch in the woods. That's so scary because it's just a lot of anything with like dark woods. I'm like, that's scary because that exists. Like
that would happen.
Very good. Very would. And the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
Hereditary. Have you ever seen Hereditary? Oh, that's so scary. Hereditary. Because that's like, yeah. Anyway, pagan-y stuff really gets me. The Wicker Man, though, I remember there's just a bit in it where it's like that very English countryside kind of paganism. And there's a bit where there's just a kid in like an animal mask who jumps out and scares the guy. And that scared me for years. Animal masks really scare me. Like deer masks.
I mean, it's like when we watched, what was that thing we watched where there's that horrible mask?
That was a great movie.
No, was it a movie?
Yeah,
was
yeah.
It like a 3-parter?
No. There was 2 movies. And it had the wolf mask. Is that the one you're talking about?
When she came dancing in.
Oh, sorry. You were talking about Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Where they had the scary mask. But there was also that really good movie we watched with that guy. And he said he was dying and he wanted someone to film his last day. And he has that horrible mask.
That was great.
What is that movie called? I'll put it in the podcast description.
Other things I've been watching. Have you seen that car jitsu thing that's going around? It's like people doing jujitsu in a car.
No. You're going to have to explain that one. Car jitsu.
Car jitsu. And I don't know, I'll be honest, I've not looked into it too much. I just keep seeing it come up. I'm in the algorithmic feed of they think, I did watch one, of course.
Is this TikTok?
Yeah, if you're served a car jitsu video, you're going to watch it once. And it was long and I did watch it till the end. And then they're like, this girl's into car jitsu. And now I keep getting served it.
I like the implication because I'll be honest, I don't know what the word jujitsu means. But I like the implication that Jew apparently just means like ground. Like that's ground jitsu as opposed to car jitsu. I'm looking at it now and this is 2 people doing jujitsu in a car.
That's all it is.
It begins with both of them seat belted in.
Yes.
And the first thing they have to do is frantically undo their seatbelt. And I've seen 2 videos here. One where a guy is frantically trying to stop the other guy undoing his seatbelt. And another video here where a guy immediately uses the seatbelt to choke the other person, which I'm pretty sure is not jujitsu. But then I suppose, is any of this jujitsu? How the hell did you come across? This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. How did you come across this?
I was served it. And then I watched one video and now I'm constantly served car jitsu. Is the aim that you have to get them in a seatbelt? Because that would be kind of cool.
They seem to be using the seatbelt a lot.
That's the video I watched. There was a lot of seatbelt action.
I will say the car is not moving. It's probably worth specifying. I mean, that would be the ultimate car jitsu if the car was like going over ramps.
The finals.
There's a little note at the bottom of this video. The actions in this video are performed by professionals. I don't know if we would say professionals.
I mean, it's the next logical step. Black belt in jiu-jitsu.
But do you get a black belt or do you just get a seat belt?
Very good.
Every belt in car jitsu is a black belt. And on that note, I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I have been Hannah Townsend.
This is Talk of the Townsends. Make sure to follow everywhere, TikTok, podcast platforms, YouTube. You've all been listening for every episode. Make sure to go back and listen to the old episodes. There's some great stuff in there, Han.
Sure.
I would say that was where the real gold was. And it's just been downhill since. Why don't you leave us with our famous catchphrase?
No.
There we go.
Right.